Hey y'all, so today I'm going to pull two clips of celebrities that we all know, high profile couples, not to criticize them, so to speak, but something that we can learn from because we've been talking about how important it is to show respect and honor to your spouse and how often women disrespect their husbands without even blinking an eye or thinking about it, but how it diminishes their self-esteem. And we're going to look at this from a learning perspective, not a critical perspective, so to speak. So the first clip that I'm going to show you is of Nicole and Boris Cujo, which I think that they are a beautiful, amazingly gorgeous couple, but nonetheless, they have problems just like any other normal person. And what we have to be careful about, ladies, is not putting our problems on Front Street for the world to criticize and to condemn and embarrass your spouse. You never want to publicly embarrass your spouse. So you have to be very careful about what you put out there, whether it's in private, talking to friends and girlfriends and family members. These things can really affect your spouse's self-esteem. And so I'm going to show you the power of what disrespect can do to a marriage destructively. Now, you also can have the power to uplift your marriage by blessing and words and encouragement and the power of showing respect. But the power of disrespect, it will destroy not only your home, but your husband's self-esteem. So, yeah. In this particular clip of Nicole and Boris, this clip was taken 3 years ago, so prayerfully everything is well and they have worked out some of these issues. And let me just say this, many of the issues that you're going to see Nicole talk about, these are not things that are new or something that many women and couples don't face, but it's just that she put it in a public platform and it caught them off guard, you can tell. And it was the way in which she said what she said. And what she's going to talk about is, she misses the trappings of being single. Everything that he did to get her kind of diminished on their road throughout their marriage. And she misses those things. She misses the attention. She misses being sought after. And one thing, ladies and men, we have to understand that the newness will always wear off of anything, whether that is someone that you are interested in dating, married to, a new house, a new career. Nothing stays new forever. And oftentimes people are always chasing that first time high, which is almost never attainable, right? So we have to be realistic in our expectations. But then at the same time, I get what Nicole says. You have to be willing to continue to do whatever it is that you got your spouse. You got to keep that same energy up. And guess what? That takes work. That takes effort. Because as you go through the years, like with anything, it's so easy to take what you have for granted because you see it every day, you get to be with it every day, but there's always someone else that is looking at what you have as if it's this new shiny toy, and what you're not willing to do, someone else will, that old saying. So, whatever you did to keep them, you got to keep that energy up, right? So that's a note for us all to remember, as we go through our marriages, to keep it fresh, to treat it as if it were new and not get into the position where we begin to take things for granted, because that's when you get into the trouble zones. But anyways, I'm going to show you that clip. And then I am going to show you another clip, which I think is probably a little bit tad worse. Tina and Richard Lawson, right? The internet went crazy about this particular clip, but we'll get into that later. Let's check out Nicole and Boris first and see what we can learn.
Times in the last year or so, I thought, I wish that he was my boyfriend again. I don't necessarily want to be single, but I miss the single life. I miss the text messages for no reason. I miss the coming up from behind me when I'm scrambling eggs and just kissing me on the back of the neck. Like,
I still do that, Boris.
You can see Boris was so over it. The guy's like, I still do that. And he's like, good for you, dude.
I'm being...
He feels totally disrespected, and you can see it all over his expression.
Here, but I'm just saying that the trappings...
There's a difference. There's definitely a difference.
There's the trappings of being single. Like, okay, you two are really good-looking people, okay? And you're married. and we're married. There's people that flirt with you. And the part of the flirtation doesn't make you necessarily go the way. Part of the flirtation that even makes you look at your phone is, or in your workspace, is that they have like a freshness or a newness. And I personally believe that if you're in it for the long haul, that freshness and newness is still possible if you talk about it. Be like, look, I know we talk about date night. We need to go have a date night.
Right.
I know we talk about like kissing and texting for no reason, but the last time you text me was over
just
like,
got real
you know,
right here. Look at
the
his
cabinet guy.
expression.
I'm a marriage counselor. I've been doing this since 2014. I've seen many couples. I know, without me even knowing their business, I know by that that Boris is fed up with Nicole. He loves Nicole, but he don't like Nicole. So I'm going to tell you something that women have a hard time understanding and men have a hard time articulating. The energy that it takes sometimes to continue to bring structure to a woman's chaos or energy, the things that she do, drains a man. It drains a man. And when a man is like, we hear a lot of music about when a woman's fed up, there's nothing you could do about it. But let me tell you something. When a man's fed up, he becomes trapped in that relationship. They have kids. And this is how I know Boris loves her, because he didn't walk away from all of that chaotic energy that she's bringing to that man's life. He's going to provide for her. He's going to make sure the kids are good. He's not going to put his hands on her. He's not going to even cheat on her, but he's not going to like her. He is going to suffer through that relationship and that marriage. And a lot of people say, well, why don't he just leave? Because men are not bred to leave. My grandma told me something, God rest her soul. She says, when a man leaves a woman, it looks bad on the man. But a woman can leave a man and she doesn't have that same stigma attached to her life as a man. Because forever it's going to look like a man left his kids, left his wife. And that's a real big stigma as far as how men feel inside. And they was raised to suffer through. Men suffer in silence. He's there. He's going to take care of the family. He's going to be there. He loves her.
True.
But he don't like her. And when a man don't like you anymore, all that affection and holding and kissing and intimacy, he's not gonna bring it. See, in the beginning of a relationship, men, that energy of that attraction that he has, that sexual energy that he has, it's what draws us towards you. It's the thing that makes us get out of the bed. It's the thing that make us work 16 hours a day and spoil you with riches because of that attraction that we have. But the more that chaotic energy that you spill out, the more he has to come and deal with that and put that thing under subjection and control. It burns him out. It burns him out, and he is not going to like you. He don't want to hold your hand.
And I love Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe speaks about this, the importance of respecting your husband. So we're going to get into that now when we talk about Tina and her husband, not her husband anymore, Richard Lawson. They recently got divorced. And we're going to see a clip where she totally disrespects her husband. And you can tell by the look on his face that it was just like a gut-wrenching punch to his ego, to his self-esteem. And ladies, you never want to publicly embarrass your husband. And, I believe this is probably why
this
her
time
and Matthew
around,
didn't
I'm
work
trying
out.
to be a wife first. Not all the time, because it's not always possible, and sometimes I am a mother
Okay,
first.
ladies, this is never a good sign. Look at him putting his hand over his head, his mouth. He just doesn't even know how to respond to this. He is like shell-shocked. And yeah, he was definitely not prepared what was about to happen. What was she going to say next, right? He has his hands over his head and mouth because he is just shocked. What did this woman just say in front of the camera? Y'all, just listen to what Miss Tina Knowles says about her husband. She totally disrespects him with no regard to his feelings. It just rolls off of her tongue. And if she talks about him like this in public, can you imagine what the conversation looks like behind the scenes? Keep watching.
I envisioned the type of man I wanted. I prayed for the type of man I wanted, and I got pretty much that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But, you know, he has a lot of the qualities.
got the eye
He has a
roll.
lot of the qualities
Sheesh.
that I love, and we're having a really good time, and I'm enjoying life. So there is hope, women, ladies.
Okay, he is totally flabbergasted. He is caught off guard. He is taken back. He cannot believe what this woman that he has married has just said about him to the public. Now, what you all talk about behind closed doors is your own business, but this was not something that you should have publicly said for all to see, that your husband's not perfect. None of us are perfect. Miss Tina knows you are not perfect. And I believe this was the beginning of the end. What is the takeaway lesson from all of this? Is the power of respect, or the lack of, can either build your relationship or it can tear it down. We as women, we value love and we need to be loved. But a man has and needs to be desired and respected. Respect and honor are critical if you want to have a successful marriage. Never forget that, ladies. Respect. Learn to respect your husband, to make him feel like he is the greatest man on earth, right? That none could do it better. And it'll take you places. It'll keep your marriage. It'll preserve you. But the moment you allow disrespect to enter the equation, it's over.